All right, viewers, the Snoopgate showdown continues in Parliament. The deadlock ensues, the opposition digging in its heels, the government on itself saying that no debate or probe right now. The latest, leaders of 18 opposition parties have now issued a joint statement demanding discussion on the alleged Pegasus snooping scandal and have also demanded a reply from the Home Minister Amit Shah. The opposition is also demanding a debate on farm laws after the debate on Snoopgate. They also claim that the Modi government is responsible for disruptions in both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. In the letter, the opposition leaders claim that the Modi government has unleashed a misleading campaign to blame them for the disruptions and have put the onus to run the house on the government.
Please go to the chair and go back.
All right, viewers, after days of suspended animation, Karnataka has a new cabinet. This time around, there are no deputy chief ministers. Let's take you through the new cabinet of Bommai's new government. A total of 29 ministers are being sworn in the oath-taking ceremony being held at Raj Bhavan. Chief Minister Bommai, while addressing a press conference ahead of the swearing-in ceremony, said the new team of ministers is a mix of experience and energy. He informed that the new cabinet includes 7 OBCs, 3 SC, 1 ST, 7 Vocaligas, 8 Lingayats and 1 woman member. Importantly, Chief Minister added that Yediyurappa's son has not been accommodated in the cabinet. While there were 3 deputy CMs the last time around, this new cabinet has none. Chief Minister Bommai, along with the newly picked ministers, met former Chief Minister Yediyurappa at his residence right ahead of the oath-taking ceremony.
It's an excellent opportunity. I would like to thank my party leaders for giving me this opportunity, our Honorable Prime Minister, our Home Minister, and our party president, our organizing general secretary, and my Honorable Chief Minister and my party leaders for this opportunity. I think it's an excellent opportunity to serve the people of the state.
5th time I'm taking the oath. Last government I was the industry minister. We did very well because global investors meet, land bank concept, single window system, then so many things we did. I know whatever portfolio he is allotting, definitely I'll do well. I'll bring the name to the government as well as party.
All we people, those who have come from JDS and Congress, sacrificed our MLA-ship and came to BJP, they withhold and they kept up their promise. I was agriculture minister for 1 year, 4 months. No, if they give it, I have to. I'm supposed to complete some other works.
Sir,
I'll be happy.
You come from a police department. Do you want to take home ministry, sir?
That is left to the chief minister. If chief minister wants home department, I'll do it.
How do you feel, sir? Because
All right, viewers, while there is anticipation of a possible third wave, the numbers in Kerala are particularly worrying. Kerala, in terms of numbers recorded of COVID-positive cases per day, has been the highest across the country. Now, the government says that after a study, it's found out that the Kerala government mishandled the situation.
Scary surge in COVID numbers. Kerala steadfastly contributing over 50% of pan-India COVID cases. The state recorded 23,676 COVID cases in 24 hours on Tuesday, the highest surge in any state in 2 months. But amid the big spike in COVID cases and fears of third wave, the Vijayan government has gone ahead and relaxed lockdown, doing away with Saturday lockdown and limiting curves to Sunday alone. But crucially, Independence Day on August the 15th and Onam on August 22, both Sundays will see no lockdown.
എല്ലാവരും ഒരുപാട് കഷ്ടപ്പെടുന്നുണ്ട് ഇപ്പോൾ. ജീവിക്കാൻ വളരെ ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടാണ്. കച്ചവടങ്ങളെല്ലാം വളരെ കുറവ്. അപ്പോൾ ഈ ഓണം വരെയെങ്കിലും ഇങ്ങനെ അവർക്ക് തുറന്നു കൊടുത്തത് അത് അവർക്കൊരു ആശ്വാസമാവുമെന്ന് തോന്നണം.
നല്ലൊരു തീരുമാനമാണ്. അത് എല്ലാവരും പിന്നെ ഇനിയിപ്പോൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും? ഇത് ലോകമെമ്പാടുള്ളതാണ്. അതുകൊണ്ട് ജനങ്ങൾ സ്വയം മനസ്സിലാക്കി നിയന്ത്രിച്ച് കുറേ കെയർ ചെയ്ത് അകലങ്ങൾ പാലിച്ച് പോകുക എന്നുള്ളത്.
The state had last month allowed 3-day relaxation in COVID curves during Bakri Eid, also amid the worrying surge in appeasement charges. The state government also allowed 40 devotees inside the places of worship. The left government earlier gave special permission for devotees to assemble at Sabrimala. State Health Minister said that the state expects rush during Onam.
രാഷ്ട്രീയ സാംസ്കാരിക സാമൂഹിക കൂട്ടായ്മകൾ ഉൾപ്പെടെ ജനങ്ങൾ കൂടുന്ന സംവിധാനങ്ങൾ ഒഴിവാക്കുന്ന രീതി പൊതുവിൽ തുടരേണ്ടതായിട്ടുണ്ട്. ആരാധനാലയങ്ങളിൽ അവയുടെ വിസ്തീർണം കണക്കാക്കിയാകണം ആളുകൾ പങ്കെടുക്കേണ്ടത്. ഓണത്തിന്റെ തിരക്ക് കൂടി കണക്കിലെടുത്ത് 22-ാം തീയതി ഞായറാഴ്ചയും ലോക്ക്ഡൌൺ നിയന്ത്രണങ്ങൾ ഒഴിവാക്കാനാണ് സർക്കാർ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്.
The opposition accuses the Vijayan government of competitive appeasement, saying it compromised the war on COVID by first easing restrictions on Bakri Eid and now merely trying to right the wrong.
While these so-called left seculars talk about Kanwar Yatra, which never happened though, the state of Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh followed the rules there. They followed what the Supreme Court had advised them. But ironically in Kerala, despite the Supreme Court's reprimand, what the Supreme Court had said was not followed. They chose appeasement over Supreme Court's advice, and the result is in front of us.
Main opposition Congress says Vijayan government is failing in mitigating impact of COVID on economy.
They have reviewed to change the present situation. Present restrictions is only helping it to spread the COVID. That is why they are reviewed and corrected. It's a correct decision. We are welcoming that decision. Today the health minister declared on the floor that we will review the COVID deaths for the last 1 year.
The easing of curbs come with warning of triple lockdown in areas which report more than 10 cases per 1,000 population.
After continuous demands from the opposition and Merchants Association, Kerala government has finally decided to lift the lockdown restrictions across the state. The decision incidentally comes on a day when the COVID-19 central team had submitted a report to the centre stating that the situation in Kerala is not conducive to provide any relaxations. What needs to be seen is how far can the state tame the numbers in the weeks and months to come. With camera person Tinku Rajshekharan, Gopikrishnan in Thiruvananthapuram for India Today.
All right, viewers, monsoon fury continues to rain mayhem, spinning the narrative of abject deluge and landslides, especially in states like Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. Here's more.
Nature's wrath unleashed, landslides, roads caving in, and boulders raining on highways. Heavy rainfall, rivers overflowing, flooding and villages submerged. Heavy rainfall continues to lash the hills of Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand, resulting in massive landslides. One scary incident took place in Himachal's Haripurdhar, where landslides flattened a hillock and roads caved in. The Badrinath highway in Uttarakhand was also blocked after another landslide. Many had a miraculous escape. Floods due to heavy rains in Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh have been wreaking continuous havoc. The Sindhu River is in spate in Madhya Pradesh's Datia, washing away a section of the bridge. Incessant rains triggered torrents of water on the streets of Panna, sweeping away motorcycles. People in Madhya Pradesh's Guna, stuck in low-lying areas for 2 days, were rescued with the help of ropes by rescue teams.
कुल मिला के इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को बहुत नुकसान पहुंचा है, लेकिन राहत की बात यह है कि हम लोगों को लगातार निकालते जा रहे हैं, लोगों की ज़िंदगी बचाने में सफल हुए हैं। बाकी राहत के कैंप लगाना, भोजन की व्यवस्था करना, बाद में पानी उतरने के बाद और कई तरह की व्यवस्थाओं में दिन और रात हम लोग जुटेंगे।
Rajasthan is also witnessing floods as rains continue to lash many districts of the desert state. Kota remains one of the worst hit. Many low-lying villages are completely submerged. Disaster response force teams are carrying out rescue operations to save those in distress. A bus full of passengers got stuck on a flooded bridge over the Chambal River. Finally, all the passengers were rescued with the help of locals. No rain respite in sight in large parts of North India, as the Met Department predicts more showers in the coming days. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, viewers, let's shift focus now from Madhya Pradesh all the way to West Bengal, where the Hooghly River is in complete spate. This ground report filed from Hooghly, West Bengal.
Thousands of homes underwater. From farmhouses to markets, villages completely flooded. Dramatic videos show people forced to sit on rooftops. This is the appalling situation in parts of Hooghly district in West Bengal. Nearly 80,000 people in 345 villages are affected by life-threatening floods. Over 30,000 hectares of crop destroyed. Year after year, the story is the same in this part of West Bengal. While many have been rescued by the Indian Air Force and NDRF teams carrying out relief and rescue operations, people claim that there are areas in the district yet to get any help whatsoever.
ये ऑपरेशन पिछले 4 दिनों से चल रहा है हमारा, और जिसमें हमने जो फ्लडेड विलेजेस हैं, जो रोड कनेक्टिविटी कट ऑफ हो गई है, जो बाहर निकल नहीं पा रहे हैं लोग, वहाँ से कुछ डैमेज घर हैं या जो वल्नरेबल घर हैं, वहाँ से हमने लोगों को रेस्क्यू किया है और फ्लड शेल्टर्स में शिफ्ट किया है उनको।
और ये कितने लोगों को रेस्क्यू किया है आप लोगों ने अब तक इस इलाके में?
जहाँ तक खानाकुल 2 की बात है, हमने करीब 500 लोगों को रेस्क्यू किया है यहाँ से।
The situation is dire in Ganeshpur village. It is completely surrounded by water on all sides.
आप लोग कितने दिनों से यहाँ पर इस हालत में हैं?
4-5 दिन।
4-5 दिन। पूरा कहीं निकलने का कोई जगह नहीं है?
नहीं। जगह नहीं है।
कहीं नहीं है?
नहीं है।
कोई रास्ता नहीं बचा है? जो
नहीं बचा है, नहीं, डूब गया।
छोटी छोटी बच्चा है ना मेरा घर में, वो तो खाने के लिए रोते हैं, उसके में खाने के लिए पैसा नहीं है तो सब डूब गए।
One of the worst affected regions of Hooghly district is Arambagh, the basin of 3 rivers, the Damodar, Roopnarayan and Mundeshwari. During the monsoon, water is released from the Damodar Valley Corporation dams, completely submerging nearby areas. The devastation has left people angry. The villagers claim they have no access to food and drinking water. Their wait for government help continues. With Anupam Mishra, Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, viewers, after weeks and weeks of an arrest, the Delhi police has finally filed a charge sheet against wrestler Sushil Kumar in the murder of a young wrestler. Here's more.
He is a 2-time Olympic medal winner, and now Sushil Kumar is a murder accused. A role model charged with a terrible crime of beating a young man to death. As per a 1,000-page charge sheet filed by the Delhi police, Sushil is the kingpin in this murder case. Findings from questioning and counselling have revealed Sushil Kumar allegedly intended to establish supremacy over younger wrestlers and wanted them to respect him. During counselling by forensic assistants of psychology, he allegedly showed no remorse or guilt for the heinous crime he's accused of. His inflated ego of fame and followers showed that he felt he's above the law and acted on suspicion of being followed by younger members. Crime branch sources say, during interrogation, the wrestler maintained stiff body language and remained tight-lipped. The charge sheet mentions 155 prosecution witnesses, including 4 persons who were injured in that brawl at the Chhatrasal Stadium in Delhi. Apart from Sushil, the charge sheet says some other accused carried firearms, threatened victims with dire consequences. The gates of the stadium were also bolted from inside and guards were directed to run away from the spot. Recently nabbed criminal Kara Jathedi also told the police that Sushil's ego was hurt after Sagar and Sonu refused to vacate his flat. This brutal case of murder on the intervening night of May 4th to 5th in Delhi will now be a court trial. Police believe they have video clips and witness accounts to establish the crime sequence. Will Sushil Kumar prove his innocence, or will the Olympic role model for lakhs of budding wrestlers face the ignominy of imprisonment? With Tanseem Haider and Arvind Ojha in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching our Fact Check segment where we bust certain claims masquerading to be facts on social media platforms and WhatsApp groups. Now, the UP and the Gujarat state abolished caste-based reservation. This was a piece of news that was floating about. Unfortunately, the fact on that is that no such order has passed. Caste reservations continue in both states. With that, it's a quick wrap on 7 at 7, but do stay tuned, because up next is To The Point.